Put him down. Put him down. I'm not looking up.
3, 2,
Welcome back to the Agony of Positivity. This is definitely our first take for the day. I am Ross, joined by...
My name is Pepperoni.
Yes.
And you would understand that if you heard the original thing that got messed up. So we decided to even explain it why.
Not a funny story, but a funny story at the same time. So I have this fear of not hitting the record button or hitting it and accidentally double tapping or something. Mm-hmm. And that clearly happened today. Fortunately, I have the notepad up to kind of get some general time information. Uh-huh. And I went to write down the time for the intro, and I was like, why does it say 0? And then I looked, and it was on the stop recording setting. It's no good. So, but trust us, it was the best intro you've ever not heard. We went through our weeks.
Yep.
The big takeaway is orange snot is bad.
I heard on the radio, and I don't know how to look it up to see. I'm assuming it's true because I don't know why ESPN would lie about this. But they said that there's a baseball player that this year he is 60-something. And he's getting his last paycheck of his contract. When he was an actual baseball player, he only took the interest of his contract.
Yeah.
So he kept getting so he would keep getting paid as he's an old man and everything because he's retired long since like the 90s or whatever. And this year his contract is finally over with, and he's getting $9.1 million.
That's pretty sweet.
Pretty smart. I didn't think he could do that.
I imagine, because there are people who took their salaries in Bitcoin and stuff like that. So I imagine you could probably do all kinds of crazy stuff, assuming the team will sign off on it.
Sure.
Now, that would be interesting if you had a super simple life. And now I'm going to throw out to what I think a lot of people is a big number. But you could probably negotiate if you were a decent player. You guys pay me $1,000 a week for the rest of my life.
Sure.
And they would probably be like, deal.
Sure. Like Tom Brady, for example. If he only took the interest on his contracts, he'd be getting paid until he's 90.
Yeah, the reality, I hope that if you have a contract where you're going to get $100 million over a 3 or 4 year period or something.
Yeah.
I hope that's all you need to live. Because that's a lot of money to spend.
You gotta look rich, Ross. You gotta look rich.
So I could look, let's say I had $10 million. I could look pretty rich off that for the rest of my life. Because you buy $1 million house somewhere in the Midwest, not in California, because that's my living room. But so you have a nice house, you can get a nice car and then actually maintain it. And then it's it's a vintage nice car. And
I assume
you buy a nice coat.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I assume that you buy stuff instead of this, how we would do it, because no one has $40,000. Normal people don't have that, so you have to take payments.
Yeah.
I assume you just buy stuff up outright
and save on interest constantly.
Once you get a house, some cars, even if you have 20 cars.
Yeah.
What are you spending your money on?
Because I could see, so him being an athlete, I could see spending money on higher end food or whatever.
Sure. Okay.
Maybe he's having steak regularly.
Okay.
Things like that. So that's going to be expensive. But again, I'm not saying you're breaking into $100 million, but I mean, I guess vacation or something. Like, I don't know what you. I don't think I'm going to be in possession of $100 million at any point in my life,
Sure.
with the potential to make more after that. So I just can't comprehend it. Like, maybe I'll try to make a list of how I would spend $100 million.
Yeah.
And see how far into it I get before I'm just like, I start just buying dumb stuff for the sake of it.
Sure.
Because, like, my personal desires would be pretty short-lived. It'd be like, well, I'll get a new computer, maybe the consoles. Oh, hey, I don't have to work, so I'll have time to play games or pretend I'm going to.
Yeah.
I don't know after that. Like,
Yeah. That's weird.
I'm sure my wife could spend $100 million. She has very different tastes than I do.
Sure, I guess. I don't know. This
But I think
weird.
I think she would have a challenge as well. Maybe that'll
It just gets to the point where you're like, okay, well, I have nothing else to do.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to spend money on really dumb things. Or if you're like an easily satisfied person, you probably are just like, this is awesome. If anything happens that I want to do, I can do it.
Sure.
I can pay $800 for tickets to 2 nights of WrestleMania. Or not.
I don't think I'd do it.
Currently, no. There's no way.
Well, especially since they did the whole 2-night thing. The 2-night thing is stupid.
I mean, if it was trivial, like if you literally had nothing to do and it was trivial,
Yeah.
I could see doing it. But as it would be now, like, I don't know. I've been to the last one they did in Texas at the AT&T Stadium. I went to it with, like, my wife got us tickets, and I went to WrestleMania 20 in New York. Like, were the two that I went to. 20 was very exciting. The other one, not so much. Like, it was still like, oh, all right, but it wasn't as, the way they do things, it wasn't as bad as I feel that it is now.
Sure.
I guess is the nice way to put it. Like, this time around, like, there's no way I would want to go to 2 nights. But then, like, it's like, well, I want to see this and this, and the only way I can see those live is to do both nights, and I'm not like, I don't know, I just don't like it.
Yeah, it gets to the point with pay-per-views, they get so long to where I'm like, okay. Even AEW, they get they're reaching a point now where I'm like, You
want to jump into wrestling real quick?
Sure, yeah, we just jump in there.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what the hell's going on here, folks.
Looks like he's just wearing blue jeans.
This is a revolution.
This is a revolution.
Like the AEW pay-per-view. So we both watched Revolution. So now, granted, they only do 4 big shows like that a year. So it being like the event itself is 4 hours, and then you get like the 1 hour buy-in or whatever. I mean, I sat and watched the buy-in too. So like by the end of it, it was like, oh man, this thing is long. I'm more accepting of that because it's, once a quarter they do a big show. Okay. And for the most part, I've been pretty satisfied with all of their pay-per-views. Like, I definitely feel like I got my money's worth because pretty much all the matches on the card are good matches. Like, there's a build-up to them. They get time to do a match. It feels like a big deal, and there's at least a few matches on every card that's a big deal. So I'm okay with that. But, like, looking at WrestleMania right now, it feels like they're just throwing stuff on it to make it 2 nights. Where it's like, you guys could make one good card for 1 night, but they're not going to make as much money. Because I think they've sold, because I have heard people discuss it endlessly, but like, so they're set up for the first night. So running the stadium the second day isn't as big of an expense because you're not doubling the cost. Like, you've already got everything set up, so you're just there a day longer. But they can potentially double their attendance and double their subscriptions or however that works. So it's an easy thing from a financial standpoint, but dude, I don't care. like for that.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather have one 5-hour night, I guess, occasionally.
Yeah, so I'm looking at their card.
Yep, that's what I was just pulling up.
And so you got Cowboy Brock and Roman.
Right, which will be
I'm interested in that.
right. I mean, we've seen it a million times, but it'll still be good. But I wish
Charlotte and Ronda. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super uninterested. Like, and again, we don't follow closely, so take that as. But yeah, I'm not super interested in that one.
Becky and Bianca. Yeah.
Yeah, like not super. What do you got next? I got Miz and Logan Paul showing against the Mysterios.
Yeah.
Don't.
Well, this for some like Miz is there, and there it wouldn't be very high to begin with me. But I mean, that whole thing just. Yeah.
I'm a big Miz fan.
I don't care about Logan Paul
and
at all.
I do not care about this match.
Yes.
I am super uninterested. I'll let you get like what do you got next showing?
Edge and AJ.
I think that match will be good.
Yeah, but I don't care about it. There's nothing at stake.
I mean, there's a little bit of like a rival thing, but it's like they just started building it.
Yeah.
But it'll be good. But like, so far, like, so Edge and AJ Styles, like that's a match I'd want to see. That's fine. Roman and Brock.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got 2 so far.
Yes.
All right.
You got Malachi Black's wife and
Zelina.
Carmella, Zelina, and Naomi and Sasha.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the one they keep adding people to or not, but
don't care about that.
Basically, when it says tag team and it's WWE, I'm super uninterested.
Now, I would care more if Zelina would act more like Malachi Black. Maybe.
Just beat the crap out of people.
Yeah. And it will like transition that character like, okay, when my contract runs up, I'm going to AEW to join my husband. So I'm just going to get this character started now.
It'd be a butt kicker.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Drew McIntyre.
the thing is, sorry. Yeah, the thing is, like, she trains with Malachi Black. Like, they've had, like, videos where it shows her doing, like, the kickboxing training and stuff like that with him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm sure she's capable of a more aggressive style.
Oh, I 100% know.
Now, and again, I haven't seen a ton of her matches, so maybe she's doing that. But I have the feeling that since they have her as the queen and she's a bad guy, they're probably not leaning into that at all.
Oh, 100%. Anything that her character is right now, it's probably AEW or WWE's crappy creatives. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have to go back, I guess, and watch some to make sure if that's a correct criticism. But I just assume that, especially because she's smaller, like, they're not going to let her, like, strike and beat people up, even though there's nothing wrong with that.
Drew McIntyre, Happy Corbin, I don't care.
Man, do I have zero desire to see that match. I learned from watching a podcast this morning. Did you know that Corbin was the last person to pin Roman Reigns?
No.
How far that... I believe this was in the dog food era. The greatest event that has happened in modern times in wrestling.
Sure.
A close second, maybe Hangman's coronation as champion at the end of that particular story. But the dog food thing was fantastic.
My God, why Pat McAfee versus Austin I mean, you talking about a guy I could care less about? That Pat guy. He is so. I mean, I don't like him.
He's over the top on the commentary, and
well, even when he's just doing like NFL news or just normal sports stuff.
Yeah, he's like that.
He's terrible. He's terrible. I just don't like him.
There are so many people though that love it. So
are they going to dance on the table during this match or something? I mean, I don't know. I don't know who Austin Theory is. So I don't know. Is he good or?
He is a good wrestler, but I don't understand what they're trying to do with him. Like, he's been kind of paired up with Vince McMahon, And every time I read anything about it, I'm just like, what? Did you hear? So they did like that Madison Square Garden show, and Lesnar was supposed to fight a mystery opponent.
Yeah.
And they built it up, like they used like the TV to build it up.
Well.
And I mean, people were thinking it was going to be something exciting, and then it was
Like
Austin.
Cody.
I think that's what a lot of people were hoping for.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like I don't think.
No, it does not.
I don't think you debut him at a house show.
Just for him to get squashed.
Yeah, because he's not beating Brock. Like it's not happening.
Yeah.
But I think because Heyman had been throwing out that, well, if you even make it to WrestleMania with that belt, like putting it out there that maybe something will happen where he loses the title.
Yeah.
But then Austin Theory comes out, so people are just like, "Are you kidding me?" Like I did not see anywhere that it was a well-received mystery opponent.
Sure.
And then Roman was supposed to fight a mystery opponent as well that turned out to be Seth Rollins, but they had advertised it at one point and then stopped advertising it. So I don't know. But yeah, so Austin Theory, from what I can tell, he's good in the ring, but I don't know about his presentation. Like, I don't get it. And I see it anywhere there's a store that has had action figures with the line that he's in.
Yeah.
He is on the shelf. Like, lots of him. So...
Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. What in the world?
I do not care.
Looks like they're bringing out the grandpa here. You got Stone Cold versus KO.
Yeah, well, it's no longer a match. It's just an appearance and probably a fight. But you assume that Austin is going to stunner Kevin Owens at the end, and then he will drink beer. Or maybe nowadays he will drink alcohol or like apple juice or something. But yeah, because he had like a little promo. I don't know if you saw that from Austin.
No, I did not see it.
Yeah, it's like he's driving like his Polaris or whatever those things are.
Yeah,
I think it is. And then like he drives out to the middle of nowhere with, I assume, a drone, and then he like kind of cuts a promo. It's a decent promo, but
I don't know.
It's just weird.
I mean, the thing with Bret Hart was good, and Brian Pillman was good. Other than that, I've never really been too big of a Stone Cold fan.
I think we mentioned this last week. I was not an Austin guy because he just beat everybody that I liked.
Sure.
Which, oddly enough, is a reason why I didn't like a lot of the top people, because the guys I liked were like the mid-card kind of guys where I thought they should do more, but they just were never going to get a chance. So...
Well, I think I think DX versus Stone Cold could have been good, but at that point, I think Shawn Michaels was self-destructing. So I mean,
yeah, well, self-destructing, and his back was shot.
Yeah. So I mean, it really didn't. I don't know. I just never really got into Stone Cold.
I mean, from a promo standpoint, he's really good. Like, there's no denying that. And like,
Sure.
I think I also was like super tired of him versus McMahon for so long.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, the whole him versus. I'm like
now everyone, because that was back in the day when like I'd get together with my friends to watch wrestling, so there'd be like 5 to 8 of us pretty regularly, and I could not stand is not correct, but I just didn't care for Austin like everybody, but everyone else was like super into him. Like, yeah, like
so,
in a room, like cheering. Like, it's like the people who clap at the end of a movie.
So thinking back to that, when you got together with these guys to watch wrestling, why did it stop? Do you remember? Like, was there a point to where like this is just repeat? What made it where people were just like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore?
People started moving mostly.
Okay.
Like the one guy.
So it wasn't the product then, right? It was personal life.
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, because like at one point, like I moved and had some like crazy stuff going on, and like I just wasn't hanging out with everybody anymore.
Oh, okay.
But they were still all meeting like the entire time. So from like 97 till early 2000s, they never stopped for the most part. Like they moved where they were doing it, and then one day. Like I was in a band at the time, but I was going through a rallies, or some people might know it as a checkers, And one of the guys that we used to watch with, he was on the car in front of me. He was like, "Hey, we're still watching Raw if you want to come over." And I was like, "Oh, all right." He's like, "I'll wait and just follow me." So I showed up, and then a couple of the same people, and then some new people. But we were all like, and then I was invited back, so we were all watching Raw and pay-per-views again. So I mean, for a lot of them, it never really stopped too much. Because like once the guy that was hosting it moved, stuff with my life was going on around the same time. So they like all resituated and set up a new place to watch it. And then I wasn't part of that for a few years or a couple years, and then ran into the one guy, and then I was back into it. So after that, those guys moved apart.
Really,
and that's
it never ended because of the product, huh? That's weird.
Well, you got to figure from like the end of '99, and then like the first 5 years into 2000, WWE was still reasonably good at that time, because you had like Austin and was there. You still had Rock for a while, Angle, Brock for a bit. Like there was still like good stuff going on, and stories were reasonable.
And you guys were WWE guys, so
more or less. Yeah. Well, and we would also play No Mercy. Like we all had created characters and titles, so we'd show up like an hour or so before Raw, and then we'd have our No Mercy tournaments.
Yeah, see mine, because I was watching the crappy WCW product.
Yeah.
And it just felt wrong to watch WWE because I didn't care about any of the wrestlers.
Right. Yeah, they weren't your guys.
And WCW was just getting so bad. I'm just like, okay, I think I'm just done with wrestling.
Yeah, if it wasn't like without the group, probably.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like, since we were mostly WWE, like more or less, like when WCW got bad, like we would still watch it because it was amazing. Like,
it was something.
Like, because it'd be like, what do you think they're gonna do? And then like things like Judy Bagwell on a forklift. Are you kidding? That is amazing. Because it was just like a train wreck.
There were some gyms in there that, because they had bad booking and no one had no direction.
Yeah.
But like Macho Man wanting Rey Mysterio to join the Madness Club or whatever he had, that would have been pretty good if they had some kind of direction there, but they didn't.
Yeah.
But so I mean, there's things that were good, but there's some things that were just, I'm like, what is this?
Like one of the biggest things that I was like amazed by and was super into was when the Wall was getting his push and like kicked out of Hogan's leg drop or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I was super into. Like, I was like, they're gonna make this guy a monster. No, that's not how that really turned out. But
yeah,
it was bad. But yeah, we got.
And then it just, anyway. We go back to WrestleMania here. But, so Usos and Ricky Boggs.
Rick Boogs.
Boogs.
He has like a rocker gimmick, like he plays guitar and stuff.
Oh, yeah, the dude that took the other guy's gimmick. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Poor Elias.
Yes,
who's still walking away from that graveyard, apparently.
Yeah. So okay, all right. Yeah, I don't care about that. Maybe I would, because it's part of the whatever they're called, the chosen people or
the bloodline.
Yeah, that's what they're called. Yeah.
I mean, the Usos are really good. Like, somehow they haven't broke the Usos up yet. I don't understand how they've made it.
Maybe because they can't, because of the little drinky drink. So they're afraid.
Afraid of putting their stock in one guy.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, or they could have been like, when they negotiated, like, yeah, you're not gonna break us up unless we're willing to do it, or something like that. Because I think New Day negotiated their contract like all three together, so they run simultaneously.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So maybe the Usos did the same thing, but which is amazing. Like, if it's not that, I'm impressed with WWE's commitment for once to not break up a tag team.
We stay as a tag team. Now, granted, there aren't any tag teams for us to fight, but we stay
Except
as
the
a
New
tag
Day.
team. Yes.
So we'll just have to fight random dudes.
Yes, that are smooshed together as tag team. Yes.
But yeah, so with that, and like maybe I would care more if I was like watching SmackDown or Raw or whatever like regularly, but as casual as I can possibly be about it, like I know they don't care about tag teams, so
Sure.
like whatever.
It's like I know they don't care about the United States Championship with Finn Balor and Damian Priest. I could care less about that match.
Yeah, like
Is the Intercontinental Championship not on this? That is so sad.
Oh
that
no,
belt-
Ricochet. So I forgot about this. I had to look up here. Ricochet beat Sami Zayn to win the Intercontinental Championship.
Okay.
So I don't know if he has a WrestleMania match. But you'll also notice that like Seth Rollins has nothing to do on WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Now he's rumored to be Cody's opponent, but they're running out of time.
Well, what would you do? I mean, how would that even look?
I don't really know. Like,
I mean, because he's like the Joker-ish character.
At the moment, yeah, he's kind of out there.
I just don't know how Cody's character would fit in with that. Unless he comes back as Stardust. But even then.
I hope so. I honestly kind of hope if Cody shows up that they just totally ruin him. Just because it would be funny to be like, we all joked about them doing that, but I didn't actually think they would. Kind of.
And he's stuck because he signed a 5-year deal.
Yeah, like something ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
I still don't know what's going on with that.
You would think that he would only sign like 6-month contracts or something.
Or have an out clause or something.
Yeah, I mean, I would not do anything long term with WWE at all.
Well, I mean, yeah, I would say sign like a long-term contract, great, but I would want out points. Like every 6 months, I have the option to end this contract.
Yes.
Like something. Like, because I think you guys could book me good for a year or 6 months and then totally screw it up and then try to ruin me.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, so like the general stuff for WrestleMania so far, there's like 2 matches total so far.
Yep.
Like, I'm just not into a lot of their stuff. Now, what I would wonder is if AEW didn't exist and I didn't have an alternative, how far away from WWE would I be at this point? Because before AEW, I was watching Raw, but I knew it wasn't good. Like, there'd be like little things here or there, but it was like, this is not the best. Like, I'd probably have just like gone full on to watching New Japan as much as I could, but yeah.
Yeah, like I remember when I stopped watching WWE in the current realm, I guess, is when the Braun was next in line to get the championship, and McMahon came out and said, "Yo, you need respect," or whatever he said, and like took away his title chance.
Yeah, when Braun was like actually starting some good momentum.
Yeah, and I was like, "What?" It was that moment I was like, "Yeah, I'm done watching your product."
There's been so many times it felt like they had somebody that was about to kind of like break through.
Sure.
And then they're just like, nope. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so, I don't get it. So,
let's see. So you had mentioned you want to move to Revolution real quick and kind of just gloss over it a bit.
Yeah, we can.
So like you were saying, like it felt kind of long, because it was. I mean, it's if you're watching start to finish, you're looking at 5 hours. The buy-in was fine, I thought. Like
the House of Black thing was the most. Okay, I wouldn't say the most exciting, but I enjoyed that match more than some of the pay-per-view matches.
Yeah. It was interesting that they put this on right before the pay-per-view started. Maybe it was trying to like get some adrenaline going in everybody.
Yeah.
But it was good. Like everybody in the match is good. Like Eric Redbeard might be like the lowest person in the match, but for being like, as far as like, I'm going to say talent, but that's not necessarily right. But like, he's the least exciting out of the bunch to me. But he plays his role well. So,
Yeah.
like, and when he's not standing next to Brody Lee, he looks like an even bigger monster. Because
Sure.
Brody was, like, it's so weird. Like, you'll see, like, when you see people, and like Billy Gunn's probably the best example. Like, you see him next to, like, average people, height-wise, and you're just like, oh my God. Like, same with Eric Redbeard. It's like, yeah, I've kind of didn't realize how big he was because he was standing next to another monstrous dude.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was good. Like, wow, man, that probably could have been on the main card.
Sure.
But yeah, so that happened. You think we're going to see Eric Redbeard more, or you think he's just going to be like the guy who occasionally comes in and does something for AEW and then leaves?
See, when they put that mist in his face, I suspected maybe he was going to be their fourth monster thing. Maybe
Him and Brody King would be a scary set of enforcer dudes.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do there.
So for the main card now, because having to work the next day makes Sunday pay-per-views hard, especially when you know for sure it's going to midnight, maybe longer. Were you overall like excited for Revolution, or was it just like, this will be fine to watch?
Yeah, I think it was 50-50 with it.
Yeah, I was pretty excited just because there were matches I wanted to see.
And then, like, no champions losing their belts. I'm like, this is dumb.
That's fine.
No, it bothered me.
Just because it's a pay-per-view doesn't mean that the challenger automatically is better. Sometimes they're just going to lose.
Because there's some people I thought should lose their belts, and they didn't. So that's why I was like, okay.
Let's see here. So they kicked off. I was kind of surprised this match kicked off. But having listened to Jericho's podcast, it makes sense where I don't think he views first match as a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Especially when, like, if someone were to come to you and be like, all right, well, you have a pretty good feud going, but there's a lot of stuff on this card. Do you want to, like, go on after Punk and MJF's dog collar match or before it? And be like, let me go before that, please. Like, I would assume if anyone had the choice, they would have been like, I do not want to go on after that or after Moxley and Bryan Daniels.
Sure.
But yeah, so Jericho and Eddie immediately drops him on his head, like just seconds into the match. And so my brother was watching it with me, and he was like, did he just kill him? I was like, I think he's okay, but I really don't know. And then I was kind of like breaking down. I was like, Jericho and Kingston are both really smart with wrestling. Yeah. So if he took that a little bit bad, but he's okay, they're both smart enough to know that everyone's going to be wondering about it. So he's going to make you think that even more.
And that injury kind of played into one thing for the match to end. And also kind of played into the fact when he turned on Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, coming to Dynamite.
So they kind of used that. His neck injury. So I mean, I'm okay with that long term.
Yeah, well, I kind of wonder if that wasn't just like a happy accident. Like,
could be. Yeah, it could also be.
Because or the plan was like he was going to sell his neck, but he took it a little bit higher than he wanted to. Because like he had his forearm down pretty good. I would love to know if he took that as planned or if it went a little bit sideways, but it still worked out for what they were planning.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if we'll ever know that, but I would love to. Because if he planned like, all right, this is going to be a little bit risky, but I can do it pretty safe, and then make it look a little bit worse than it is, and then sell it right. But yeah, so the end result was Eddie got like a clean tap out on Jericho. I kind of figured it made sense for Kingston to win, but I wouldn't have been shocked if Jericho still won. Were you pretty pleased with this match?
Yeah.
Like some people were saying they actually think it was the best match of the night. It's just because it went on so early.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was the best match. I think Punk won that, but
yeah. No, I mean, I definitely think this was good though. Like,
it was good.
This was a strong start. And then we got to the tag title match.
Yeah.
I'm sure you were excited for Jurassic Express to retain.
Oh yeah. That was awesome.
I will say every time Luchasaurus has been in the ring with the Bucks,
yeah,
he looks way better.
Sure, because they're making him look better.
Well, right, but I'm saying like they know how to somehow make me believe or feel like he's a bigger deal than he is, and in a lot of cases, I don't feel that way. Because I went from being a big Luchasaurus fan to basically being like, he literally does the exact same thing every time.
Yes.
So
his movesets are boring, and he cannot cut a promo. So I mean,
the promo's not good for the most part. Now I do like when he just randomly yells. Like I think that's hilarious, but his moveset's not bad, but it's just there's nothing in between.
I think he would be a lot better, or I think the tag team would be good if Jungle Boy wasn't a piece of bread. I mean, he has no personality at all.
Yeah.
And so his random yells, I think would be good if he actually had somebody next to him that could actually cut promos.
If Jungle Boy could channel like Hawk of the Road Warriors.
Something, yes.
And then tell him Luchasaurus, and he just roared.
Yeah, something. I mean, they're just so boring.
Do you think so? Up Jungle Boy's intensity a little bit, or even make him just crazy because he was raised in the jungle or something. Even though we know that's not true, he pretends to be a savage, but Luchasaurus can only roar, and then he translates what Luchasaurus said into just crazy stuff about ripping them like he's a raptor.
Yeah.
Things like that. Would that work for you? Maybe.
No.
Would it be better than how you feel it is currently?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll give them that, I guess.
Maybe they'll do the Ultimate Warrior tribute where they just go insane one day. But yeah, so Jungle Express or whatever. I don't know if it's Jungle Express. I don't know what they're calling them now, but
they're on the AEW tag team or the AEW page. They're called Jurassic Express.
Okay, still. But yeah, I mean, match wise, it wasn't bad, but kind of figured that Bucks and Red Dragon would kind of cancel each other out.
Yeah,
but I mean, it was a decent match.
Well, see, that's the other storyline. Red Dragon and the Bucks.
Yeah, what's going to happen
if Omega is not coming back anytime soon? That storyline is going to just drag. It'd be kind of boring.
I'm assuming based on Hangman's gear that Hangman is going to be with the Bucks soon.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. So the ladder match, pretty crazy. I thought multiple people died, but apparently only Orange Cassidy died.
Yeah, because he got hurt, didn't he?
Something happened to his shoulder. Well, yeah, I don't know if he jumped too much or Keith Lee did not know his limits since he does not have them and tossed him a bit too far. But yeah, because I saw that and I was like, oh, that's got to hurt.
Yeah.
Because he looked like a man who hurt after he hit.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in that match where Wardlow and Ricky Starks, I was like, ooh.
The only thing I think is where he hit he was in between the rungs probably.
Yeah.
Is the only way that saved him.
Sure.
Because, like, when he, like, slumped with it, it looked like he said something. Like, it looked like Wardlow was looking at him for, like, a reaction if he was okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Like,
maybe that powerbomb somebody on a ladder. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Especially someone who's had neck injuries.
Like, man, being old makes you watch wrestling different. Like, because a lot of that stuff I wouldn't have thought anything of, like, 10 years ago even. And now it's just like, oh, Lord, please don't do that. I mean, this was it's a ladder match, so there's just chaos and stuff like that. But,
well, and I saw people criticizing it because Keith Lee didn't win. And I don't think people understand Tony Khan's. I think just because he gets somebody new, it does not change the way he's already booked something.
Right.
So if he's already scheduled somebody to win like 2 months in advance, that's not going to change anything.
Well, and I think he'd be willing to make changes, but I don't think he's going to make like a super quick change like that.
Yeah.
Just for that. And we'll get to that because, like, well, we'll mention it now. Like, Scorpio Sky won the TNT title on, I think it was 364 days without being beaten.
Yeah.
And it sounds like going pretty far back. Now, this is from, I think Sean Ross Sapp reported it, or Fightful or whatever, was saying that win for Scorpio Sky was planned a long time ago. Like, so I don't know if they were like, let it build, like, hey, we're going to take you a whole year basically being undefeated, and then you're going to get the belt.
Yeah.
Which
it kind of sounded like Cody kind of messed that up a little bit with his contract.
Supposedly, that was planned as well. Like the Sammy Cody. Yeah. Well, Sammy Cody Sammy was actually a planned thing, possibly. Maybe the timetable on it would have stretched a little bit longer, but it definitely sounds like around this time it was expected that Scorpio was going to get that belt.
Did you? I don't know if I sent it to you because I saw it on Twitter and it made me laugh how they talk about the TNT title.
Yeah.
How like everyone has a different. They do something different with the TNT title when they win it.
Yeah.
And they said the guy's like, apparently Sammy's thing is apparently collecting belts. So he's like, I want every time Sammy wins the TNT championship back, he gets a TNT belt. So he's like, at one point, I want to see Sammy coming out with 10 TNT championships.
Like he's Ultimo Dragon when he came out with all the belts.
Yeah. But they're all just TNT championships.
And exactly the same.
Yes.
That would be hilarious.
Yes.
Especially if you could get a segment where like Tony Khan's like talking to him and the bank is like, I'm not going to buy another belt for this. This is ridiculous. And they're like, fine, I'll do it myself. Yes, so then you just start getting like weird looking TNT titles that are like total bootlegs.
Yes. That'd be great. Coming out, he has to have like a whole caravan of people carrying belts for him.
Yeah. Well, they could be the thing too. Like you do something different. Like one time he has like a bunch of like valets carry the belts. Yeah. And then one time he comes out with like a wheelbarrow. I mean, you'd have to commit though where even if it was like short run, like have someone defend it, like start it, like their first defense is the week of a pay-per-view. So they defend it on Dynamite. They defend it on the live Rampage. Then they defend it at the pay-per-view. Yes. So they're starting out with 4 belts.
Yes.
Like just.
And Jim Cornette is just losing it every time. Like, because someone's randomly tuning in, like, why does this dude have like a wheelbarrow full of belts?
And it's the same belt. What is going on?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Oh man, yeah. If you could add in his meltdown, during as part of your intro, I don't know how much you would have to pay him for that, but oh man, that'd be great. But from this ladder match, the one thing that I think we're going to get from this is Hobbs and Keith Lee are going to have a program probably.
Eventually, yeah.
I mean, it looks more so because from Dynamite, like we'll talk about Dynamite as we go through this, just to make it easier. Because Hobbs, or actually, this was on Rampage last night. Hobbs hit Keith Lee with like a big old spine buster. So
I assume, judging by the way they do things, that Keith Lee is going to lose this because, I think if anybody has a shot of like being built up now, it should be
Hobbs.
Yeah, Hobbs. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is weird because like I've grown to really like Keith Lee, but I'm pretty sure I'm a Will Hobbs guy. Like the first time we saw him on Dark, or the first couple times, I think both of us were like, "Oh, that guy's got like." There was something that drew me to Hobbs.
Sure.
Probably like his spine buster being pretty clean was a big part of it. And he was a big dude, but like I don't know if he's got more cut or what, but he's even bigger now. Like he looks a little bit more like toned out. But I mean, he's good. Like I'm starting to buy him as a bad. Like he's not a good person pretending to be bad to me anymore. Like because for a while it seemed like he was just like a good person pretending to be bad, and now it's like okay, now he's got whatever he was looking to find. I think he's pretty close to 100% on it. He's getting his own action figure finally.
Yeah. So good.
But yeah, like with him and Keith, like I can see that one going either way. But yeah, I'm almost certain I'm gonna pull for Hobbs. Like, I just don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's a hard one.
Yeah.
But he's definitely younger. But yeah, so Wardlow, he wins this thing, and then plays into later on in the night, I suppose. But yeah, it was a ladder match. I don't know. You either probably enjoyed it okay, or you hated it. But
yeah, I mean, it was just all right.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like the world wasn't changed by this ladder match. Like it's not like all ladder matches will have to compete with this, but it was a solid ladder match. Tony Schiavone spoils the signing of Swerve by waving around the Swerve contract before announcing it.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody knew that he was going to be there, so it doesn't really matter. But I did laugh when he came out because all he really did was like sign the thing and kind of did his little taunt or whatever. But I was like, well, in the seconds of signing the contract and then walking 10 feet on the stage, he's shown more personality than Jungle Boy. So,
sure, yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, low bar, but so Jade beat Ty again.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. Like, I mean, it was relatively short. I don't think this was as good as her match with Anna Jay was.
Yeah.
But it's whatever. All right, so now we go to what I think pretty much everyone thought was the best match on the card. Dog collar match.
Even Jim Cornette liked it.
Yep. It's funny because I listened to that because I was like, he had to like this. And the one thing he had like a major problem with was the one thing that I questioned as well. Now, first off, yeah, like because, well, we'll get to that. Now I did not hate it nearly as much as Cornette did, but so you didn't watch Ring of Honor, right? Especially when like Punk was in Ring of Honor.
Oh no, yeah, I didn't watch it.
Okay, but you kind of got like from Excalibur talking about it on the entrance when Punk came out to the AFI song. It was like, oh, like it made sense. He was doing like a throwback, right?
Yeah, to the point to where I didn't need Excalibur telling me, and like I was a little child.
Right, but well, apparently based on the internet, there were people who needed more of a rundown or something. Like,
well, and those people, I don't get it. I guess their brains don't work right or something.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
I kept seeing stuff about it, and I was like, well, it can't be that big of a deal. And then I saw it brought up on other stuff, and I was like, how is that big of a deal? That doesn't make any sense. Were these same people completely confused when like Seth Rollins came out to the Shield entrance? Like, did their brains just melt?
Wait, did I go back in time?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
So I don't know,
I
but like, I mean, I got it pretty much immediately because like I called the song as soon as like it was something was different with it. And I was like, oh, okay, I see what we're
Well,
doing.
especially when I saw people singing along with the song, so I was like, because AFI it was I remember that band.
Yeah,
Uh, so I was like, well, either he used this band or people are just there's some AFI fans in the audience,
right.
you know. So I mean, I don't know why it threw people into a connection there.
Yeah, I don't. And like, you're a pretty intelligent wrestling fan, so you get like, oh, he's doing a throwback.
Sure.
And I mean, he had like the dog collar match with Raven. So, but yeah, so like, I mean, did you think the match in general, like, was it what you expected, or did you like the way they did it?
I mean, it was a dog collar match, so it was what I was expecting it would be. I mean,
I liked
it
it
didn't blow me
better than.
away. Like, oh my god, is it? You know.
I mean,
but-
just as a wrestling match in total, I really liked it because there was like a
Yeah.
story to the match. Things were built up well. Like it felt like a big deal. I like this better than the Cody and Brody Lee dog collar match. Now this had more time as well, and a different build. And I mean, I just think like MJF and Punk approach things different than Cody does, for sure.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they did like some cool stuff. I haven't seen anyone wrap their knee with the chain. Now,
yeah.
that I can remember, like maybe Punk did that previously when in his match with Raven or whatever.
And maybe Piper did it. 'Cause
Maybe
they seem to be played back into the Piper thing. So.
yeah, but I mean everything in the match was good. But yeah, let's get to the thumbtacks thing, because when MJF brought out the thumbtacks, my thought was like, that seems like unnecessary. Was my thought, but I was like, yeah, whatever. Like he wants to, like he wants to hurt Punk, like so it makes sense to me. Did you have that thought, or were you just like, oh, okay, thumbtacks?
I never understand the whole thumbtack thing. I mean, I'm not like Cornette that just has a meltdown about it.
Yes.
But I mean, I'm just like, okay, yeah, they're putting thumbtacks out there.
You're not thinking if the good Lord had created a thumbtack shortage in America that this match would have been better?
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't. Yeah, it doesn't bother me one way or the other.
Right.
Other than I'm like, well, that's probably going because most of the time, if you look, the thumbtacks get trapped in their boots. So,
Yeah. Well, or the poor ref has to count the pinfall in the thumbtacks, or
yeah,
like you end up sitting on them or whatever. But it did
Yeah.
make for an awesome visual when Punk did the roundhouse head kick and the
Sure.
tacks went flying. I was like, oh,
Sure.
that was sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so towards the end, like, I mean, back and forth, they're both bleeding. Punk is a professional bleeder, for sure. MJF is still at like beginner levels. He needs to level up or something.
yeah,
But yeah, so they're trading all over the place, and then it finally gets to where,
well, see, and the other thing is talking about Cornette.
yeah,
Like he hates it when people bleed in matches, or like at least he criticized like Kenny Omega, and he criticized Moxley for doing it.
yeah,
But you don't have a problem for Punk doing it. I
Right.
don't. It's
Well, yeah,
almost like
'cause-
you have a bias against people.
yeah, pretty much. Like,
yeah,
but it's bizarre to me for some reason. I mean, it makes sense that he likes him, but it seems like Punk would be someone that Cornette doesn't like for some
Sure.
reason.
yeah,
But I don't know, but he does.
yeah,
I did think it was funny when he was like giving MJF a hard time.
yeah.
Where he's
Because he
like-
likes MJF too. So
Yeah, he was like, well, I think he said he was like, I love him, but he's a little bit green when it comes to certain things.
sure.
And basically talking about it taking him an hour to blade. But yeah, so we get to the end finally after like back and forth, just each other getting wrecked. MJF calls for Wardlow. Wardlow comes out, and he can't find the ring.
Yeah,
And this was the other thing I thought was weird on the Cornette thing is he was complaining that commentary were like, oh, we can't find the ring, and he felt like they did it too quickly. But I could tell instantly that once Wardlow patted like the second pocket,
yeah.
so that seemed like a weird
Yeah, it was weird. I
I feel
agree
like
with
that.
because
I think he just
Wardlow-
doesn't like Excalibur, and that's why he.
Sure,
So he
sure.
wanted to complain about Excalibur and Shivani.
Yeah,
But yeah, like I will
think
say, like
Wardlow showed that I can't find the ring.
yeah, like I could tell it almost immediately, and the
Yeah.
live crowd's not going to hear the commentary. So, but I mean, facially, he had like the perfect. Oh no, I can't find your ring. Whatever will happen now? Like he conveyed it perfectly.
Yeah.
And then Punk hits him with the GTS, and then he's looking at Wardlow, and Wardlow's like, "Let me check one more pocket."
Sure.
Tag on it. There it is, and like sets it down and leaves.
Yeah.
So, which leads to Punk busting MJF with it and getting the pin. I kind of wanted MJF to win this match, but I'm okay with Punk winning it as well. And we got, technically, that's the Wardlow turn. What do you think?
I think it was about time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was about the best situation to pull the trigger on it because MJF cost Wardlow the match against Punk.
Yeah.
And Wardlow theoretically cost MJF the match now. So they're even on that front.
Yeah.
And then, like, on Dynamite, Wardlow talks about, like, he's still under contract with MJF, but he wants to be done with it kind of thing. Yeah. So it's definitely there. Do you think there is a chance in the world that MJF is going to let Wardlow out of that contract?
No. So this week, or Wednesday, when he fights Scorpio for the belt, MJF's going to cost him that. So, I mean...
Yeah, one way or the other.
And just keep that going, so,
yeah. Yeah, and then you think they'll hold off on...
Are you all right?
Yeah, apparently the sinus infection is causing the drainage to kick back up a little bit. I took a drink, so I think I'll be okay in a minute. But do you think we immediately get a Wardlow MJF match? Or if he does something where he costs Wardlow the match and then releases him from his contract and then keep him separated for a little bit? Or what do you think?
I think Spears will come in there somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
Spears and maybe like he did with Jericho, getting some other jobbers.
Yeah, basically he has to fight through people.
It seems like FTR is no longer part of the Pinnacle, I guess.
I mean, something's going on there, which is fine. I mean, it was like a loose faction there after the first little feud. It became like a looser faction.
Yeah, after the
Blood Guts,
or whatever the thing's called. This seems like okay, we're done.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but yeah, I imagine I can't think that they would, if it's true that they planned Scorpio Sky's TNT title win that far in advance.
Yeah,
that would be for 1 week.
Yeah, one would hope, but I mean, if you're going to do shocking, I guess, and keep the people that are so pro and like that Tony Khan is racist.
Right.
I mean,
yes.
So I mean, I guess if that happens, I guess.
Right. Well, because if Sammy won against Scorpio, it was like, well, there's no chance that Wardlow's not getting it or MJF isn't ending up with it, like one or the other. So yeah, but that'll be kind of interesting to see play out. Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa. So with
this match doesn't make sense to me. Because why did you even have it on the pay-per-view if you were just going to give her that belt this Wednesday?
Well, but it's her hometown.
That's I don't know. I just think it's stupid.
It seems like
because she lost
because of all the interference. Well, she lost because of all the interference. So now they're going to have the cage match.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, what if, though, because like Thunder Rosa, when asked the type of match that she wanted to do at one point, she said she's wanted a cage match. And her winning in her hometown would be a pretty big deal. So...
Well, that's fine. See, I would have did it where, like, I don't know, Britt fights whoever's associated with Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
And they lose at the pay-per-view. And then Thunder Rosa goes, oh, well, I get a match in my hometown, and I want a cage match. That's
Right.
how I would have did it.
Yeah, they could have got there a little bit cleaner. I
Yeah.
would agree, but the end result, I don't feel so bad with the end result, seeing what they have planned, I assume. But yeah, like you could argue that it's unnecessary to have done this match.
Yeah.
Like, because there's already the precedent for the amount of interference that Baker gets.
Yeah.
It was weird, though, because I see people being like, well, all this interference makes her look like a weak champion. It's like, well, isn't that kind of the point? That's the only reason she's retaining. So once you take all that away, it's kind of like the Bucks when they lost to Lucha Bros in the cage.
Sure. And it's the whole thing with Hogan when he was the NWO. I mean, he's
Yeah.
a heel coward. I mean,
Yeah.
are people just new to the wrestling logic of different types of characters?
I almost think that some people are just so broken as to how they view wrestling
Yeah.
that super traditional stuff
Yeah.
almost doesn't make sense.
Sure.
Like,
Like Seth
imagine-
Rollins. I mean, like, but WWE, I mean, Seth Rollins was a heel coward champion.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns is a strong heel champion. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just,
That cheats. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
different flavors.
yeah. I don't get it.
I think people didn't like, I know myself, I didn't like the super cowardly Rollins just because
Yeah.
I knew he was so good, but it did make me hate it. So,
Sure.
all right. So one of the other featured matches here was Bryan and Moxley.
Mhm.
Did this live up to the violence that you were expecting?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
I mean-
kind of want them to be working as a team.
Well, you got it now at the end because Regal comes out to restore order between the two. And they, poor JD Drake and whoever that random dude that I've never seen before with him was, they got worked over by Moxley and Danielson for sure on
I
Dynamite.
think, I don't know. I think putting Regal with them,
Uh huh.
I don't know. I don't know if I like it.
I mean, it makes sense because he's tied to both of them pretty strongly. So
I don't know. I'll have to let it play out more. Right now, I don't agree with it.
I think you'll like it by the end.
Yeah.
And he might just be there for a short period to be that bridge as to why they're working together or to give
I'm
Regal
here.
something to do.
I'm here until Ring of Honor starts up again.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, are you excited though? Because next week, I'm pretty sure Danielson and Moxley are fighting. I think it was Wheeler Yuta and one of the other best friend members.
It might no.
Oh, I thought
Other
you would
than
like
them-
to
Other
see
than
them.
them get beat up.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Yeah.
All right, Tornado Trio match that saw, I think he's almost 63 now. Sting jump off a balcony through like a dozen tables on Andrade.
Yeah.
Did you think that Isaiah Cassidy was dead after the Spanish Fly on the stage?
Oh yeah.
Because Aubrey looked legitimately concerned when she ran up there.
What everyone's like, Sammy's movesets, it doesn't make sense. It's like, why would you do that?
The Spanish Fly I don't like it as a move when it's a stand. Now, when the guy's running at you and you hit like the Irish Whip into the Spanish Fly,
Yeah.
I can kind of get behind that because
Sure.
it's like a momentum thing.
Sure.
Otherwise, I just don't really care for it. Like, it's
Yeah.
impressive, but
yeah.
yeah, I legitimately thought, because like she even let out like a big sigh when she ran up there and was checking on him.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think he's dead. Like something went real wrong, but I guess not. But they tricked me for sure. Hardy takes the pin in this one. Were you pleased with this as far as a spectacle?
I'm sorry. I'm just having a conversation with my wife here.
Oh.
So. Well,
Yeah, basically like if did the trio, like, were you entertained by the trios match?
yeah, I was.
The
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad. I don't know. I'm glad Hardy got away from us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we get Jeff showing up, which was about the least surprise you could possibly have.
Yeah.
And then, so Hangman retains in the title match. I know you wanted Cole to win. Did you at least enjoy the match up until the finish?
I didn't enjoy the match at all because he kept doing his buckshot lariat where it wasn't special. I mean, there's like, I counted at least 4 that he did.
Like where he was going for it, you mean?
I just seemed like he did his move too much.
I mean, he only hit it twice.
I thought he did no, I thought he did it more than that.
I mean, he went for it multiple times, but I think he only hit it 2 times because he hit it once and Cole rolled over by the ropes, I think.
Okay.
And got it, and then he did it at the end because he hit Cole's move, the drop the boom or whatever, the knee drop, and then he hit him with it. But yeah, he went for it like multiple times, and Cole countered.
Maybe because I'm just so disappointed that
Cole didn't win.
Adam Cole. Yeah, Cole didn't win.
But yeah, I liked it. It was a longer match than I thought it would be. I really thought Cole was going to win it a couple times. And I was like, oh, that's kind of sad. But so Punk did like the waist motion for the titles. So it's real possible like the next big match for the world title might be Punk and Hangman. Mm-hmm. So you might see Hangman lose the belt there. Because I could definitely see that happening. Sure. Probably with a Punk heel turn, but I don't know. Because like at first I thought Hangman's gear was like a Pride based gear because of all the stuff going on in Florida.
Yeah.
But so on BTE they showed like a close up of his vest, and on the back where it says Hangman, it has like one of the old style Young Bucks print.
Okay.
And the tassels are missing one or two of the colors from the Pride flag, I think. So I don't know if it was something that is that like a foreshadowing to him and the Bucks going against Undisputed Era, since Kenny's probably going to be gone for a while longer. Like, I'm not sure, but it was interesting. And I mean, the Bucks basically said that they're not going to have any part of fighting Paige anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you need Kenny there. The whole, I don't know. It seems.
I'm not sure where they're going.
Yeah.
I'm sure like once they get there, there'll be the hints, but we'll have to see. And Dynamite had basically like we hit like the major points of Dynamite. I would say it wasn't like the best Dynamite, but it set stuff up going in the future because you had like the breakups, you got the new Jericho stable, which I honestly I did not see that one coming.
I didn't see it coming. The name is terrible. I don't know, maybe
I'm pretty sure he knows that.
I didn't get into the whole. I didn't get into the inner circle right off the bat.
Yeah,
and then that started growing on me. So maybe JAS will.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's clearly a obnoxious bad guy group. I mean, you got 2.0 and him. It's just going to be a lot of yelling and promos. Like, you're going to have to turn the volume down. Like, as soon as you see them, just turn it down to like 2 or 3, and you'll still be able to hear it.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate. I was hoping Daniel Garcia would end up with Moxley and Bryan, but I guess that's not in the immediate future, so we'll see. But then, other than that, there was like some stuff on Rampage, but it wasn't like a must-watch kind of situation.
No,
so,
I didn't think so.
Swerve's good in the ring, though. I hadn't actually really seen much of his stuff, but he moves good. The one thing that I thought was weird, because him and Tony Nese know each other very well from like 205 Live and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I know that, but I haven't really seen the matches. Sure. So them basically doing like the Rob Van Dam, Jerry Lynn thing where they're able to constantly counter each other's moves.
Yeah.
For me as a new person actually seeing it was confusing because I don't know what the move is that they're countering. Sure. So like it seems like they're on like stage 3 of a feud or 4 where I would like it to be stage 1 so I could catch up. obviously I could just go watch those old matches, but like not being super familiar with the movesets, it was a little bit. I mean, it was still fine. It was good, and like people countering stuff because they know it makes total sense. But it was a weird thing, like because I knew that I didn't know what was happening because I hadn't followed. Like it was just super weird. So, but all right. So that's it for now. You want to just go ahead and call it, or you got anything?
Yeah, let's call it. We're done.
Sweet. All right.
I'm done.
Here we go. We're just going right to the button.
That's fine. And you guys have a great week. Like and subscribe.